Good evening, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. I did a little bit of work on the yard, went out to eat something, coming back. I wanted to do a video. Thank you guys for all your contributions. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate all the comments. And we'll focus on a couple of them, at least 3 or 4 of them today, to try to kind of move into another discussion that we want to talk about. But RF98 had a good question about, can people feel your energy? Mr. Huge had a question about talking about how long I've been on this retention. And I'm going to go back to Junior and Carl a little bit, talking about the real effects of semen retention. So thank you for your subscriptions, comments. Please donate. I try to leave the link. Not some of them. I think I missed put it in there, but I'll put it in this one as well. So okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. So as we talk about semen retention, we're really talking about keeping your energy. I refer to this in many different ways, and I think I owe it to my friend Dex out there, who wanted me to kind of bring it to the forefront, maybe to kind of bring it to the name that we talk about most of the time, retention. And we're talking about whether or not this is something that's powerful. So back to RF98's question, we'll start there first. In talking about this, can people feel your energy? So when we talk about the real power of semen retention, and we're really talking about people feeling it. Now, I had a comment the other day. I was working with somebody, and they just basically said, a female said, "I can't match your energy." And so basically, she had felt that energy around you. I've had people today, even today, little children just staring at me. It's almost like they see the energy and aura. Now, I can't see it myself because I'm kind of used to the way I look, but other people notice the difference. And they notice that, and it becomes attractive. So one of the benefits of retention is this whole attraction type of thing. Now, once again, with great power comes great responsibility. And so basically, you're not going to be one of those players out there. You're going to basically not abuse it, but you're going to, my case, because I'm married, and I have really no intention of having any kind of affair or anything like that, I'm basically just kind of seeing it as more of a flattering type of comment. But I notice it, and I do bring it up to you guys, and notice that someone even at 61 years old can kind of get that type of attention based on this type of thing. And so the effects are very real. Going back to Junior and Carl, the effects are very, very real. And I say that because I've experienced that. Now, going back to Mr. Huge's comment and question, yes, so we are, and I think it's like 1 day apart. I think there was a no FAP and retention type of thing 1 day apart, but we're at 784 days now, I think it is, and it's very close to being aligned. I remember the day I just said that's it. I fought for this for 40 some years, over and over again, going back and forth. And I just said at 57 years old, I said, I got nothing to lose at this point. Basically, I wasn't heading in the right direction with my Lord or anything like that. And so I basically just said, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and go to the full extreme. And so I decided to slowly but surely go into monk mode, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I've had, after about 200 days of monk mode, I had to start again because I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing with that, and that result or reaction was not a positive one. And so I started again. I think I'm at 20 some days with monk mode at this point. But retention, staying away from porn, that's 700, that's almost 2 years. And so we're getting closer. My goal overall is 12 years, so we have a long way to go. Hopefully I'll get to Mike Tyson level at 5 years, and we'll continue to see what happens. But I've kind of gone away from the whole idea of thinking that edging or anything like that is a good idea. And so I think, as Mr. Huge's question, that's kind of where we're at this point. And hopefully we'll continue to battle on like you guys are battling on. And each one of us has a little different battle. I had 40 some years of going back and forth, so I can relate and empathize. And so that's kind of why I do a lot of these videos, just to provide information and get my insight on things and have a discussion with you guys about things, because I'm learning different things as well. I think Mark had brought up a good point about other things. This is kind of a basis of the retention, the journey you're on. You have to add things to it, because it all comes down today to your self-discipline, self-control. And the more you can control yourself, the better off you're going to be. Then the effects become even more real. So I think you have to also put your diet into it. You have to also look at other types of things like Qigong, also using intermittent fasting, which I do, and cold showers. A lot of things I've added to on top of this over the last couple of years, and I'm getting there. I'm looking for my 6-pack of abs, even at my age. I'm only about 2.5, so we got a long way to go. But it's more of just figuring out. I think life is like a puzzle. You kind of have to figure out what's been holding you back, and you have to kind of go ahead and figure out the pieces of the puzzle, almost like a video game. Even I'm not old enough. I'm old enough to remember playing video games when I was younger, not younger, but in my 30s. And so, playing video games, like I remember John Madden's football and some of the basketball games, maybe 15, 20 years ago even. And, at first it's overwhelming, but eventually your mind works on trying to solve the problem. And it kind of puts the pieces together. And as you play it more and do it more, you become more aware of it. So same thing with a streak. As you become more stronger with this, and you find ways to overcome whatever's happening to you, it's important to focus on this. It's not really, and I listened to somebody talking about weight watching today, and the weight part of it is the same kind of principle you're talking about. So when you talk about weight, your stress, all these other things get involved. You have to solve the stress part first. And then you can go ahead and then work on, then you have no trouble with the retention part. But part of the problem I was having a long time ago was stress would come into life, and this would be obviously a release of energy, and hopefully that would have made stress better. But it only added to it, and it added to my fear and anxiety. And that's another one of the benefits you have. And so we talk about the energy. It's not only the energy that people feel around you. This is why they're attracted to you. Guys, it's really not, I believe in, as I've lived all these years now, I believe that there's a physical side that we see, and there's a spiritual side we don't see. Because we're made of energy. And you can talk about chakras and a lot of things I've talked about before. But the idea is that you can't really, common sense will tell you there's more to what we see. And what we see more of is the energy sources. And this is an idea that if you keep your energy, you're going to be the strongest person you become. Now I'm talking to the choir in the 1% Club, but you guys are 20, 30 years old. You have a lot of years ahead of you. And build up that energy. I made a lot of mistakes over the years and not building it up. And now I'm finally at the point where I feel so much stronger after 2 years that anybody can do it. Anybody can have a 6-pack of abs as well. A lot of times we're holding ourselves back. Lack of exercise, lack of working at this, just the same thing as retention. So it's all building behaviors to become the best person you become. And that's my advice. Don't be chasing women around. Don't be focusing on that. Focus on yourself. Focus becoming the best person you can become. You'll have no trouble with women, but get the right kind of women in your life that's going to make you better. It's going to help you instead of hurting you. And I think that's the key to it. So going back to a lot of the stuff we're talking about here, RF98, asking about the effects of it, yes. I have had lots of people talk to me about how I'm different or something is different about me over the last couple of years, and the attraction level from children, all those things. It's almost like they're just staring at you. And what they're staring at, from what I've read and researched and listened and talked to other people, is really kind of focusing on the energy. They see the energy source. They see something's different about you. And it also can make you look younger as well, in my opinion. And I'll do that again. Like I said, I promised, and then I feel bad I haven't been able to do that yet, but I got to find some time to actually sit down and do the exercises on one of these episodes, and I'll show it to you. But I did a couple of you. I'll go back and listen to a couple of them that I did on the Fountain of Youth, and I actually show you pictures of the book. But those exercises have helped me since 1998 really kind of transmute some of the energy. and it's made a difference in my life since I was 35 and older. But also, I was missing the last aspect of it, and that was a celibacy. And I tried for a lot of years since, I'm trying to think, in 1998, we're talking probably about, 15 years trying to go ahead and, do that last one with the mantras and tantras and things like that. And I could not do that because I didn't have that sixth sense of retention. And that's what you really need to be the superhuman person you look at. So the superpowers you have. And so, Mr. Huge, you're exactly right. I mean, it's been a couple years. It's getting easier in some ways, but then it's also getting harder in other ways because you still have a trigger. Now, for some of you young guys, and I'm not sure how old some of you guys are, I think most of my demographics I looked at between the ages of 25 and 34, you're basically you don't have a long history of relapsing like I do. So it's very easy to go back to memories and pictures in my mind of things. Even though I don't see the pictures anymore on the screens, the mind still plays with me. And I think that's the evil one, still trying to get me to go back to the old style. But I think, as many of you guys have said, this is a lifestyle change. And what you're doing is you're changing your lifestyle. And if you happen to go back and relapse, that's okay. And I guess I didn't realize that I was changing my lifestyle as time went on, and I needed to make the final push to be able to kind of say, I can actually go on a long streak. And that's really the only reason I keep track of it. Because really, just doing it, you just keep doing it and doing it. But I want to kind of do it not only to note it so that you guys kind of see and I can see the benefits and how things change over time, but also trying to kind of give encouragement to those I've been through a lot of this, and I see that. So some of you guys who need some help with that or questions with that, I'm happy to do that. And we've talked about flatlining, we've talked about edging. I mean, I'll do a number of videos on these things we go through because we're getting new subscribers all the time. But the idea is that please go back. I've done 100, 400 and some videos talking about this stuff. And some of it really is kind of more simple, but it's kind of to the point, the same old idea we're talking about, that you have to kind of learn how to discipline yourself. We're in a society that doesn't do that. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. All right, so once again, a shout out to RF98, a shout out to Mr. Huge, a shout out to Carl and Junior. Thank you guys for your questions. I appreciate that. I hope it gives you a little more insight on what we're talking about here. But the whole idea is to be able to retain and you get the benefits, the real benefits. And once again, the benefits, we've talked about those a lot, but you get a lot of attraction from especially females. Males will also look at you. Now, some will react positively and negative. Same thing with females. Some don't like the energy level they're seeing. Children will stare at you, right? Your focus will be much stronger. You'll get more accomplished. Your energy level is stronger. And your health. I haven't been sick especially with the fountain youth stuff, I haven't been sick in 10 years now. I just don't get sick. And I don't put anything in my body that actually is not natural either. And so I've kind of actually gone away from a lot of the high sugars. I drink a gallon of water a day. I'm doing a lot of those things that I thought I would never do because this has motivated me. This retention thing has motivated me. So it is real, very real for me. And it's a case where, you could look at it as a placebo. If some people want to look at it as a placebo, that's fine. But the idea really is that this is something that's affected my life in a great many ways. And it's been the best thing for me. I know a lot of people talk about some of the dangers of this. We talked about this before a little bit. And I did promise friends I was going to do a couple of videos on Tantra and retention and prostate and retention. And I will continue to do that as well. All right, guys. So until next time, keep battling. God bless each and every one of you guys. And battle on. Battle on, warriors. Battle on.